The Glock 20, 10 millimeter. Everybody should have one. I am of the opinion that were it not for this gun, this model, the Glock 20, the 10 millimeter cartridge may very well have gone completely extinct. So why the Glock 20? Why at this point in time, the Glock 20? Well, because I didn't have one. I didn't have one, and I said that's a shame. A handgun enthusiast should have a Glock 20, and I did not have a Glock 20. Now I do. Also, I want to plug Glock Sport Shooting Foundation, GSSF. If you're not a member of that, you really should think about becoming a member. Not only do you get to shoot all the Glock matches in your area, GSSF matches, that come around your area for cheap, but also you get every year a pistol purchase coupon which gives you basically blue label pricing. Something to consider. I actually did not pick this one up blue label, but I was going to. I ended up not. Glock 20 is a nice gun, man. Nice gun. So the 10 millimeter cartridge was born in the 1980s and almost immediately started to die off because the FBI, who was going to adopt it, changed their mind, went to the 40. You all know the story around that. And there was the Colt Delta Elite, which was probably the most popular. Smith & Wesson had a couple of handguns in 10 millimeter, but they all started to, the sales were almost non-existent for those handguns. Around 1990, the Glock 20 came out from Glock and really kept this caliber alive. A lot of people bought it because it was a Glock, and a lot of people bought it because it was a great handgun to carry hunting or just for self-protection in the wild. You can certainly defend yourself against large game and large predators with the 10mm round. So I firmly do believe that if it were not for the Glock 20, the 10mm cartridge would be maybe not completely extinct, but it wouldn't be as popular as we're seeing it once again today, and it would have been hard to find for years. .10mm is a stout load, but the Glock 20 handles it really well. I really love 10mm. 10mm is maybe one of the most versatile straight-walled handgun cartridges that exist. It's a very powerful round and capable of taking actually large game and defending yourself against predators, as I had mentioned. I mean, this is the loaded for bear handgun load. At the same time, it is also manageable in terms of recoil, even in normal sized and smaller guns. This Glock 20 is like the normal duty sized gun, handles it very well. But even the Glock 29 handles the recoil pretty respectably, I think. The other nice thing about 10mm, if you're a hand loader like me, you can load it down to a power that is comfortable for you to shoot over a long period of time, even if you wanted to shoot matches or something like that with it. 10mm is an inherently accurate round and lends itself well to competition. It's just always been too expensive and too powerful for most people. But the more guns now that support it, more ammo is being made. The more the price is coming down. Running out some old LAX 10mm ammo that I've had for a while. This is not reload, this is factory new, LAX factory new 10mm. It's a good range round, but of course real men shoot 10mm weak hand only. Okay, so I shot 4 groups of 5 rounds each using 4 different kinds of ammo. One was my own hand load, and the rest were common factory loads. I didn't go with anything extraordinary. I didn't go with any, defense loads. I didn't go with any of the powerful stuff. I just went with common, like if you were going to buy 10 millimeter and weren't trying to spend a lot of money, I went with that. Okay, from 15 yards, put a few on paper. I'm going to do 5 rounds of American Eagle, 180 grain, flat point. All right, there's those 5. Five rounds of Arms Core, also 180 grain. All right, there's those. Okay, next up, 5 rounds of Sig Sauer Elite Performance, 180 grain. Everything that I'm going to shoot today is 180 grain. Unlike everything else, Sig Sauer does tell us that their round is going 1,250 feet per second. All right, there's the Sig. Gotta tell you, I'm having a hard time with these sights. I've gotten spoiled with so many good sights, so many different guns. The standard Glock sights, not making it. Now, here's one of the real reasons that I wanted to do some accuracy testing today with this brand new Glock 20 is my hand-loaded 10 millimeter, also 180 grain. So I wanted to compare my hand load against other ammo that I tend to shoot fairly frequently in 10 millimeter. Make sure that my load is on par. Okay, that was my stuff. And that brings me to my own hand loads, and it's pretty bad when you've got to zoom the camera out to show the full group. But here you go. Here's my group, or my ammo, I mean. The full 5-shot group measured 3.23 inches. And you can see there's a big triangle there on the outside. Best 3 were in at 1.481, but nowhere near the performance I was getting from the what I consider the garden variety factory loads. So that tells me I need to work on my ammo a little bit, or it tells me I need to shoot it first instead of shooting it last, because maybe I was just getting tired. That is very possible. This was all freehand at 15 yards, so fatigue factor is, legit. Well, there you go, guys. The Glock 20. It's a Glock 20. It's a Gen 4. Not a whole lot to say about it that hasn't been said a million times, but it is one that if you like Glocks, as I do, you need to have one in your collection. I think this is a significant Glock. Like I said, I believe wholeheartedly that this gun probably kept the 10mm cartridge alive. Because were it not for this, I mean, basically would have the Colt Delta Elite. And how many people are buying ammo for Colt Delta Elites? I think the Glock 20 kept 10mm on the fringe of mainstream enough with hunters and people like that and Glock enthusiasts buying it that it kept the cartridge alive. It not only kept the major manufacturers producing it in limited quantities, but it also kept folks like Buffalo Bore and Underwood producing some really powerful rounds for hunting and protection. So credit the Glock 20 for all that. I am. If you disagree with me, you're welcome to do that. I'd love to hear comments. If you have a different opinion, you may be more knowledgeable than me. There are plenty of people who are. So I think before I take this one out again, I'm going to need to do a couple of things to it that are important. Number one, I think I'm going to need to put a different pair of sights on it. I'm becoming a bit of a sight diva, I have to admit. So I'm going to look for something with a nice blacked out rear, probably, and a nice orange or yellow sight out front. And I'm going to swap that out. And of course, I think it goes without saying, it needs a Talon grip. I think a rubberized Talon grip would be in order for this gun, or maybe that new material, maybe the new Talon Pro material, which may be available at this point in time. I don't know for sure. I will find out.